Sarah had a gift, or perhaps it was a curse. She could see ghosts. From a very young age, she was different from other children. While they played with toys and imaginary friends, Sarah's companions were far more real and far more unsettling. Ever since she was a little girl, shadowy figures flickered at the edges of her vision. These apparitions were not just fleeting glimpses, they were persistent, always lurking, always watching. They whispered to her in the dead of night. Their voices were soft but chilling, filling her room with an eerie presence that made it impossible to sleep peacefully.
Now, at 16, I stood before the imposing silhouette of the Grand Blackwood Hotel. The stories I had heard about this place were enough to send shivers down anyone's spine, but for me, it was a calling.
It loomed over the town like a watchful spectre. Its presence was undeniable, a constant reminder of the past that refused to be forgotten. The old building had been abandoned for decades, shrouded in unsettling tales and local legends. Stories of mysterious disappearances and ghostly apparitions were common among the townsfolk. The townsfolk whispered of the hotel's dark history. They spoke in hushed tones, afraid that even mentioning the hotel's name might summon its restless spirits. They spoke of tragic deaths and restless souls. The hotel was a place where many had met untimely ends, their spirits forever trapped within its walls. Sarah, drawn by an invisible force, felt a shiver crawl down her spine. She knew she had to enter to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within. The air grew heavy as she approached the main entrance. Each step felt like a journey into the unknown, the weight of the hotel's history pressing down on her. She could almost hear the echoes of long-gone laughter, now replaced by an eerie silence. The once grand lobby was now a shadow of its former self, filled with the memories of a time long past. Ethan, a young man with an enigmatic aura, stood beside Sarah. He was a recent arrival in town. His piercing gaze and quiet demeanor hinted at a hidden strength. Ethan had a peculiar profession. He was an exorcist. He possessed an uncanny ability to communicate with the spiritual realm and guide lost souls towards peace.
I sought out Sarah, drawn by rumors of her unusual gift. I recognized in her a kindred spirit, someone who understood the unseen world.
Together they formed an unlikely alliance, united by their shared connection to the supernatural. They planned to enter the Grand Blackwood Hotel to confront the spirits that haunted its decaying halls. The heavy oak doors creaked open as if disturbed from a slumber. Dust swirled in the air, thick with the scent of decay. Sarah and Ethan stepped inside, their footsteps echoing in the vast emptiness. The lobby, once grand and opulent, was now a hollow shell of its former glory. Cobwebs draped the ornate chandeliers and the velvet curtains hung in tattered shreds.
As I walked deeper into the hotel, my senses were overwhelmed. I saw the spectral forms of the hotel's former guests, frozen in time.
A couple danced in the ballroom, their laughter echoing through the silence. A family dined in the restaurant, their conversations a low murmur in her ear. Each ghost was a story untold, a life left unfinished. Ethan led Sarah through the hotel, his steps measured and cautious. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the creaking of the old wooden floors beneath their feet. Each step seemed to echo the tragic history that these walls had witnessed. They reached a room at the end of a long, darkened hallway. The door, slightly ajar, seemed to beckon them with a mysterious allure, as if inviting them to uncover the secrets it held. The air grew heavy with a palpable sadness. It was as if the room itself was mourning, the walls whispering tales of sorrow and despair. Sarah could sense a powerful presence here, a spirit filled with pain and anger. The energy was almost tangible, wrapping around her like a cold, suffocating blanket. This was the story of Alice, a young bride who had met a tragic end within these walls. Her dreams of a happy future were shattered, leaving behind a legacy of heartbreak and sorrow.
Alice had been madly in love with the hotel owner's son. Their love was a beacon of hope in a world filled with darkness, a light that shone brightly but was destined to be extinguished. Their love was forbidden, their families locked in a bitter rivalry. The feud between their families was fierce, a battle that left no room for love or happiness.
One stormy night, Alice was found dead in this room, a single rose clutched in her hand. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil within, a night of chaos and tragedy. The circumstances surrounding her death remained a mystery, but rumors of betrayal and murder lingered in the air. Whispers of deceit and treachery filled the halls, casting a shadow over the hotel's history. Alice's spirit, unable to find peace, haunted the hotel, seeking revenge for her untimely demise. Her presence was a constant reminder of the love that was stolen from her, a love that could never be reclaimed.
I will never rest until justice is served. My soul is bound to this place, driven by a need for retribution. My love was taken from me, and now I wander these halls, bound by sorrow and rage. The pain of my loss fuels my existence, a never-ending quest for justice in the shadows of this forsaken place.
As Sarah stood in the room where Alice had died, she felt a cold hand grip her wrist. A chill ran down her spine, and she heard a voice whisper in her ear.
"Help me!"
The voice pleaded, filled with a deep, resonating sorrow. Sarah realized that Alice's spirit was reaching out to her, desperate to be free from her torment.
Ethan, sensing the shift in the atmosphere, quickly produced a silver locket from his pocket. It swung gently from its chain, emanating a faint, warm light. The locket contained a sliver of rowan wood, a natural repellent against negative energy. Alice, we are here to help you.
Ethan began the ancient ritual of exorcism. He chanted in a language that Sarah didn't understand. The air crackled with energy, the temperature plummeted.
Sarah watched in awe as Ethan commanded the spirits with an unwavering authority. She knew that this was a dangerous game they were playing. The spirits of the Grand Blackwood were powerful and unpredictable.
The room grew colder and the shadows seemed to deepen. The spectral forms of the hotel guests flickered and swirled around them. Sarah could feel Alice's presence growing stronger, her rage palpable.
"You cannot trap me!"
Alice's voice shrieked through the room, her spectral form becoming more defined, her eyes burning with a cold fire. Alice's spectral form materialized before them, her white dress stained crimson, her eyes blazing with fury. She lunged at Sarah, her spectral hand reaching for her throat.
"You will suffer as I have suffered!"
She screamed, her voice echoing with centuries of pain and anger. Sarah stumbled backward, fear gripping her heart. She had never encountered a spirit as powerful and vengeful as Alice.
Ethan swiftly intervened, stepping between Sarah and the enraged spirit. He held up the silver locket, its light intensifying. "Alice, I will not allow you to harm her. It is time for you to let go of your pain and find peace."
The locket pulsed with a blinding light, bathing the room in an ethereal glow. Alice shrieked, recoiling from the light as if it burned her. The shadows that clung to her flickered and faded.
Sarah watched, her heart pounding as Ethan continued to chant, his voice filled with a strange power. Slowly, Alice's anger seemed to dissipate, replaced by a look of confusion, then sadness.
"I just wanted to be happy. I just wanted to be with him."
Tears like shimmering diamonds streamed down her face. Ethan lowered the locket slightly, his expression softening.
"I know, and now you can find peace."
As the last of Alice's anger and pain dissipated, a sense of peace settled over the room. The once turbulent air now felt calm, as if the very walls of the room were breathing a sigh of relief. The other spirits, sensing the shift in energy, began to fade as well, their forms dissolving into motes of light. It was as if they were being called back to a place of rest, a place where they could finally find solace. The temperature rose and the air felt lighter, as if a heavy weight had been lifted. The oppressive cold that had once filled the room was replaced by a gentle warmth, a warmth that spoke of new beginnings.
Sarah watched as Alice, her spectral form now radiating a gentle light, turned to her. The transformation was remarkable. Alice's once tormented visage now looked serene, almost angelic.
"Thank you,"
she whispered, a grateful smile gracing her lips. It was a smile that spoke volumes, a smile that conveyed a lifetime of unspoken words and emotions. Then with a final sigh, she too faded away, her spirit finally at peace. The room once filled with anguish and sorrow now felt like a sanctuary. Sarah and Ethan walked out of the grand Blackwood Hotel, leaving the ghosts of the past behind. They stepped into the fresh air, feeling a sense of liberation and renewal. The once imposing structure now seemed almost peaceful, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. The shadows that had once loomed large now seemed to retreat, making way for a new chapter. Sarah knew that her life would never be the same. She had faced her fears and come out stronger, more resilient. She had looked into the face of darkness and emerged stronger. The experience had changed her, giving her a newfound sense of purpose and direction. She had found her calling, a purpose that went beyond the ordinary. It was a calling that would guide her through the challenges and adventures that lay ahead. And as she glanced at Ethan, a knowing smile on his face, she knew that their adventures were far from over. Together they would face whatever came their way, stronger and more united than ever before.